You paid your $5, now let's get into Stick and Puck.
And we're back for Season 2 of Stick and Puck. There's been some changes.
Season 2. We said we would be back. Here we are.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, well, the changes are Stick and Puck is now its own entity.
Yeah, Stick and Puck's going to be Stick and Puck now. No more Between the Pipes, On the Bench with Beeks. We after we did our first 6 episodes, kind of towards the end of the season, Beeks and I talked about it, and we were like, let's just make this a Stick and Puck thing because it just made sense. So here we are, right?
Absolutely. And, we got to thank you guys for, listening to every episode. This was really kind of just a little bit of just kind of get on the mic and see what happens. And you guys listen. So thank you so much for that. And now we're standing on our own 2 feet.
We're doing it, man. Yeah. It was the responses and listens actually were much higher than we expected.
Yeah.
It was at first it was just like, let's see where this goes, without really, I don't know, there wasn't necessarily any like plan, so to speak, making it,
no sort of intentions or anything.
And just and when I say that too, we're not getting 8,000 listens an episode, but like it was significantly higher than we thought it would be, put it that way, for your just a couple guys without and no sponsorships, no nothing, just this is everything that you see that we use, and all the editings, everything's literally, we do everything. We no one gets paid to do nothing. We literally do it on our free time. So
no, just a true shoot around. Just like Stick and Puck, really.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Stick and Puck. And with that too, so for a lot of, listeners and stuff, what we ended up doing was, we mentioned before, the Between the Pipes podcast and stuff. And that's when I first started podcasting, it was with Cody doing On the Bench with Beeks, which On the Bench with Beeks, it's its own thing, and it's grown and it's doing awesome on its own and all that. And then I kind of stepped off from On the Bench with Beeks and tried to do a podcast that I wanted to do called Between the Pipes podcast, which is more towards goalies, so to speak, and talking to goalies and whatnot. And long story short, what ended up happening was, it just simply didn't work out. It became more stressful than fun for me personally. It was tough when you send 30, 40 messages out a day, asking people if they want to hop on, and you get left unread 90% of the time. That became tough, when you're on your own. Like you really rely on those guests, and it just didn't work out. And it's nothing against the people that I reached out to or anything. It's just everyone lives their own lives and stuff, and it's totally understandable. So, but that became tough, and then, we kind of try to do the Stick and Puck thing as a joke, just you and I, and this, I just made me realize, like, this is so much more fun talking to another buddy.
Yeah.
Shooting the shit, not worrying about guests or anything. We just kind of talk about whatever's, came up on social media or whatnot. And I'll be honest, like, the whole podcasting thing is like rekindled for me, because for a while I was like, screw this podcasting, like,
yeah,
this kind of sucks, and I enjoy this much more now. Again, though, it's just, we do this once a month and talk about, chill with a buddy, no pressure, no nothing.
Oh yeah.
So where I was getting with that though is, so Between the Pipes podcast is now Stick and Puck. So basically what once was Between the Pipes podcast is now Stick and Puck. The name got changed. We have some a half-ass logo for it right now. Speaking of that too,
Still in the works for sure.
if there's anyone out there, that's kind of specializes in creating logos for, brands and whatnot, hit us up, because we would like to, even if, talk prices or whatever. I would really entertain that, and see if we can maybe make a pretty cool logo for this podcast.
Check it out a bit for sure.
Yeah.
So just to go back to just kind of where you were with Between the Pipes podcast, that is a struggle for a lot of podcasts. It's just like when you're looking for guests every week, it's an interesting kind of thing, because you will send out so many messages and it's just like, I got nothing back. So it does become super stressful to put something out every week with fresh material.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. And I think what sucks about like new podcasters in that sense too is, I mean, I'm sure there are other people that did the same thing as me. When you first start something like this, right? You sit on like YouTube or anywhere online and you kind of like watch like videos of people that like kind of give you these tutorials of like how to start your podcast and what you should do, what you shouldn't do, And a lot of them really emphasize on like, you got to make sure that like you do this once a week or sometimes twice a week, or else your numbers are going to suck and this and that, and if you stick to this certain thing, that's like, if you're this type of a host, whatever, that's what you have to be throughout. Like, it's just like, so all these rules and regulations, all this stupid shit, and all that stuff can easily get in your head, and you start worrying about those things. And that's, and I in my opinion, like I speak for myself, I kind of got in my head after that. It's like, right, I have to be able to release these every week or twice a week or whatever, or else, I'm going to lose followers or this and that, all this stupid stuff. So I got in my head, and then when I was trying to reach out and get people and it didn't work out the way I had imagined in my head, then I got frustrated at it, and like almost angry about it, like, oh, like this is dumb and whatnot. And the past, something that was once fun became almost like a full-time job, and like almost like a burden in a way.
Right.
And then at the end you kind of feel like a failure too, because you didn't accomplish what you thought you were going to accomplish, so to speak, right?
Just kind of ruining it as well. So yeah, it's a stressful kind of situation, but I mean, it's so much better when you can just sit with your buddy and just chat.
Oh, it's just so much better and so much more fun. Again, nothing against other people or anything. If a guest happens to pop up on this podcast, if it does, awesome. But like, you and I talked about it. We're not really going out of our way and like reaching out to people here. It's just, it's more so like, kind of like for us, really, like, because we used to hang out a lot, and then obviously lives and stuff. You got a new gig going on right now outside of Between the Pipes. On the bench with Beeks.
Work life
for myself, work life, family life, all that, like, so it's, we don't get together anymore. So like when we can dedicate one day a month to do this, it's freaking awesome, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, we are talking about one of our most favorite topics of all time is hockey.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's nothing we need to prove or anything like that. So it's just a great time.
Exactly, man. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of like the nonchalant update. With that too, Cody and I were talking about, so Cody's going to be no longer posting these Stick and Puck episodes on the Bench with Beaks podcast platform. It will strictly.
That's actually quite funny that you say that, stickly instead of strictly. Yeah.
It will strictly go on the Stick and Pucks
and
platform.
Obviously, be sharing it all the time still. So, if you're a follower of Between the Pipes podcast or on the Bench with Beaks, definitely hop over and give us a like on Stick and Puck, and we'll still be posting awesome stuff.
Yep. And I guess one last thing is we are planning on doing its own separate Instagram account. That's not up yet. We're not quite sure when it will be up. Hopefully within the next few days. And once it does come up, we'll promote it, My Between the Pipes Instagram is still active, but it's now Between the Pipes Network instead of Between the Pipes Podcast. So I'll be still up, and I'll be promoting it on there as well, and Cody's going to be doing it on the Bench with Beaks side. That way we kind of keep people, just letting them know updated where we're at, and it would be super cool if the people that do listen now would hop over, maybe give us a follow, and kind of get that whole thing rolling a little bit. So
yeah, for sure.
So we can make this fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you can still catch these Stick and Puck videos on the Bench with Beaks YouTube as well.
Yep, that will stay the same on the Bench with Beaks YouTube platform. That will stay the same. The Stick and Pucks are gonna go strictly on there. We're not doing a separate YouTube channel. Just too much work. We can all combine it into one. That it just, it's the same faces, same people, all that. It just doesn't make sense to make a whole different YouTube channel again. So
yeah, for sure.
We'll definitely we'll promote those still on there, and we'll have links in our link trees and whatnot. So
yeah, everything's in the work. But let's do what we came here to do, eh? Like talk a little hockey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's get right into it, man.
So much has happened since the last time we talked. Much has happened.
Fall's upon us. Hockey season's just getting closer and closer. Preseason's right around the corner. It's going on right now as we speak.
Yeah. Training camp is kicked off for everybody.
Training camp is kicked off.
Huge. Especially huge trades, huge, like everything, man. Like this is almost like a whole new NHL league to talk about.
Well, this is going to be interesting too. Yeah, because the last couple of years have been weird with the whole COVID situation, right? It feels like it's finally gonna be like a normal season, following the schedule that it's always been,
right?
With no hiccups and stuff. Knock on wood, who knows once winter rolls around if some weird things happen again. But as of now, everything's going per schedule. So that part's exciting by itself. But yeah, with training camps and stuff, Cody, what do you got to say about that?
Well, the biggest thing everyone's talking about right now is Nathan MacKinnon's gigantic contract he just signed.
8 years.
8 years at $12.6 million, I believe. That is just gigantic. And perfect to do it right now before he goes to UFA. And nobody has to worry about it for the rest of the season. It's done. It's good. And he gets the payday that he deserves. I think, the one thing that I've been seeing a lot is people just griping about it. Like, oh my gosh, he's so greedy. Like, why? Like, he once said that he would take less for the Avs to win. Well, dude, I've got two things to say about that. Like, dude, the Avs won. They won the Stanley Cup.
Right.
So, they won. But, dude, the last 7 years, the contract he's been playing on was $6.3 million. He's been taking a hometown discount for 7 years.
Yeah.
The man should be getting paid this much. Like, it's the kid deserves it. He's gone through all the rough spots with Colorado, been there the entire time, took this team, turned it around, always been a Hart Trophy, at least in the conversation, and the face of a franchise. The man should be getting paid this much.
100%. You covered all of it right then and there, man. Like you said, he's been taking home deals for how long? And one of the things that he always mentioned was, right, he wants to win a Stanley Cup with this team, and as long as he needs to do whatever he needs to do on his side, he'll do that until they win the Stanley Cup. And just like you mentioned, they won the Stanley Cup, so the kid deserves his money now, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I'm very happy that the Avs went that route and rewarded him for helping them, build the team, so to speak, right? Be able to get all these players that we got, to be able to win this cup and stuff. That was a lot of it. Nate Dogg had a lot to do with it.
Yeah,
I mean,
you think players like Devon Taves and Arturi Lehkonen and just everybody that we had acquired since Nathan MacKinnon has been here thought, well, no, I don't want to go and play with an extremely talented player like Nathan MacKinnon. I'll go somewhere else.
Right.
No, he drew in a lot of interest from other players. He had to have. I mean,
well, absolutely, and with that, but then also like him taking those big cuts, being able to pay these players, to play,
allowing them to come,
being able, exactly. I mean, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I want to play with Nate Dogg, but like at the same time, like I need some money too, And again, if Nate would have been greedy, so to speak,
or taken 12.
Greedy's not even the right word, but like he should have he could have had this type of money like years back already.
Oh, easily, for sure. And where would we have been then?
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't have brought in these incredibly talented players to surround him with if $12 million of our cap back then were taken up,
Right.
So, I mean, the kid absolutely deserves it. I mean, he's an amazing person. Just because he took a bigger contract now doesn't make him any different. And, I mean, seeing him in the pre-training camp skates lately, he's got just as much fire. Even in every single one of his interviews, he's like, yeah, sweet, we won a Stanley Cup. But the greats don't just win one Stanley Cup. They win 5 or 6.
Right.
We're not done yet. We've just begun.
Right.
And he's still got that fire. He's still got that gigantic winning attitude. So, I mean, to say he just wants the money is just, I mean, that is such a moot point at this juncture.
Yeah, it's weird how. Yeah, I think people just they try to stir up shit just to like create like this like stupid story or whatever, and like conspiracy or I don't know, like.
Well, I mean, someone's always got shit in their mouth and they're gonna spill it. You know?
I think but I agree with you 100%. He deserves every penny of those $12 million, however much it was. God, I even feel like he would deserve more.
Absolutely. And guess what, guys? The salary cap's going up each year. I mean, it's projected at 2025. It's gonna jump up way larger than what it is now. So in 3 years, that $12 million ain't gonna look that bad because guess what? Connor McDavid's got to sign a new contract. Leon Draisaitl's got to sign a new contract. Austin Matthews got to sign a new contract. Right. And you think they're going to be sitting at where they're at right now? No, absolutely not. So it's no matter what, like I think it's just the matter of the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
And the have-nots want to say every little negative thing about the haves that they can.
Yeah.
Or should I say the have-nots? Or the avs.
Avs-nots.
The avs-nots and the avs.
Yeah.
I mean, just for pun's sake, right?
No, congrats to him, man. I'm so happy that he's, here for 8 more years. It would have sucked to lose him. So very, very happy about that.
He's going to be an ad for life, just like Landy, just like all these other cats,
Yeah.
And I mean, you got to look at this now. The Avalanche core is locked up for a better part of a decade now.
Yep.
I mean, we've got Mikko Rantanen on a 7-year deal. We've got Cale Makar on a 7-year deal. We've got Gabe Landeskog on a 7-year deal. Val Nichushkin on an 8-year deal. Arturi Lehkonen on a 5-year deal. Josh Manson on a 4. We're going to be loaded for a while, man. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
And The only one thing that does worry me about Mac taking that much, I will say, even though I was just completely boosted all about it, but I mean, being able to sign Devon Taves in 2 years, which I'm not that worried about because Joe's real savvy with contracts, and I mean, if we're continuously fighting for the Stanley Cup or winning another Stanley Cup within those 2 years, there's no reason why Devon Taves wouldn't want to stay for maybe a little bit more money or a little bit less money.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe in 2 years we'll be able to offer him more money than $4 million a year.
Yeah, never know.
Which I mean, I would hope because I mean, Devon Taves and a Cale Makar tandem is just unreal. I mean that defensive pair is just lights out.
Yeah.
I mean, and you saw it last year during the entire season. I mean, those two, they go together like peanut butter and women.
Peanut butter and women.
I mean, jelly. I meant jelly.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Yeah, I think we're in for another very exciting season. I won't sit here and say like, "Yep, we're getting the Stanley Cup again," but we'll be up there. We'll be contending with some of these other top teams. So it'll be a lot of fun to watch, man. I think it's going to be a great season.
Well, yeah, and like when you look at the second problem here, the only problem that I could really see with the Avs is the goaltending situation. But I mean, that Georgiev and Pavel Francouz, I mean, that's going to be a real healthy goaltender battle because both of them have been solid number twos for so long. And now they're both looking at this, open spot with Kemper leaving and saying, hey, maybe I could be that guy.
Like I said before, we won the Stanley Cup with a mediocre goalie, and that was Kemper. I shoot me if you want to, but I don't think he was anything spectacular or better than Francouz he was just a mediocre goalie. And Francouz has proved himself, this season and the seasons before. He had the injury problems, whatnot, but even outside of that, he was a pretty solid goalie. Even for catching with his right hand.
One is that
full right.
Oh yeah, if you go back to season
that full
one,
right.
That full right.
I just can't get over it. Different breed goalies.
A different breed of a different breed, if you will. So
yeah. But Georgiev again, wasn't he backing up
Shesterkin in New York?
Well, he was backing up Shesterkin, but before that, he was still with the organization.
Yeah, he was backing up Lundqvist.
When Lundqvist was there, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, the guy's been around some pretty serious talent, and when Lundqvist was going through his issues, Georgiev was their guy, and he hit it fairly well from what I remember.
Extremely capable.
So,
absolutely.
And giving him, a team of this caliber, players, I think you're only going to make him better. So
yeah, and a slightly above average defensive core too. I mean, yeah, if you want to compare New York's defensive core to the Avalanche's defensive core, yeah, I think you're going to get a little bit better help in the crease with the Avs for sure. So I mean, that makes a lot of difference for a goaltender for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, no, well, super exciting, man. We'll see what happens. Talking about preseason games, you going to any?
I want to. I mean, it's always an option,
Yeah.
There's one coming up this Sunday, actually. So at 2, the aforementioned other gig going on, the work. So that's a little bit out of the question. But I mean, got 5-6 preseason games to talk about, and
yeah, for sure. I locked in Tuesday's game against the Wild.
Oh, nice!
I'll be there.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll go check it out. And preseason's preseason. Like you're not gonna see any of the maybe one or two of the your Stanley Cup champs or whatever. But it's mainly the young dudes that are still kind of trying to make the roster and stuff. But nevertheless, man, being out there, seeing the ice again and stuff.
Being back in the sack.
Yeah.
Being back in the sack.
It'll be super cool. So.
But yeah, and with the preseason, you get to see all the, you get to see a lot of the rookies, a lot of the guys that are trying to make a spot, and even professional tryouts. And one of the big things that the Avs did was sign Alex Galchenyuk to a professional tryout.
There you go.
So I mean, you're gonna see Galchenyuk in the burgundy and blue, which I never thought would ever happen. And I mean, yeah, the kid's game may have fallen off, but he hasn't been on the most stellar of teams. I mean, if he can impress during these preseason games, I don't see why he couldn't maybe earn a spot on the team. And like I said, his game's fallen off a bit, but I mean, the Avs have the roster to create a resurgence of a career. I mean, look at what we did with Val Nichushkin.
Yeah, he was kind of a nobody.
Oh, Val was, he was that first round draft pick that just never happened.
I distinctly remember you talking so much shit when we picked him up.
Yeah,
you hated him.
I was just like, it was during that, like, kind of, will we or won't we, go to the playoffs again kind of thing. And the Avs picked him up for like a $1 million like contract, and I was just like, why? Because he never really amounted to anything in Dallas, and then we went back to the KHL for a bit, did all right there, but I was just like, it's almost like a waste of a roster spot, and goddamn, I'm so happy I was wrong, because Nuke, huge.
Yeah. Sometimes, and we've talked about this in the past, it might have been a podcast or not, but like sometimes, like we've said, like sometimes people need to change, and this could have been, the change that he needed, you know what I mean, to kind of get by and, improve himself or
your mic
whatever.
Your mic is, I don't hear anything.
You don't hear a thing. How about now?
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Oh, yeah. The mics worked. It was the headphones.
Yeah.
The headphones.
Yeah, all right. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
We're
going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're chilling. We're recording.
That just threw me off. But yeah, and that's the biggest thing is that some guys toil in different hockey markets, and Galchenyuk being an American in the Montreal hockey market, it can be tough. You have to have a real thick hide to be able to withstand just hockey media in Montreal.
Yeah.
You ask PK Subban about it. Ask, Austin Matthews. The man's got to have a thick hide, and he's he's been in the media lately for a little bit of the Snortsky. He got caught doing coke.
Yeah.
But yeah. Even with like the drama aside, you have to deal with almost like 50 journalists in Canada. Like one night you have a bad night and 50 journalists talking about what's wrong with so and so. Why is his game off? Trade him. He's a bust. Almost every night.
But we're also talking like Canada, right? Like, not that I'm saying U.S. hockey's any different from Canada, but like, you're in Canada. That's like,
that's their
shit like that. I feel like people follow more, like, like the TMZ crews are like up fucking hockey players' asses
instead of Hollywood assholes.
Because that's their celebrities over there. So I could see how that could be a little different, right?
Oh yeah,
especially where you've been drafted and you've expected, they expect you to be like this fucking out of the world, superstar, and it doesn't always work out. It's been proven in time in and out, right? Like, just because you get drafted number one or whatever doesn't mean you're going to be number one.
No,
so a lot of times, you get this freak year or whatever. And after that, it can go downhill easily.
Oh, for sure. And it's really up to that player to decide if they really want to keep going,
Right.
And, God bless Alex Galchenyuk's heart, because, I mean, he has turned into a bit of a journeyman in the NHL, and he's never quit, I mean, he's still out here. I mean, getting this PTO is huge for him, and, I mean, shit, he could really help us out, Just recently I did an article on who's going to fill the second line centerman position for the Avs after Kadri leaving. I mean, you got that huge signing from, Evan Rodriguez, or, you got Alex Newhook, and then now you got this PTO with Alex Galchenyuk, who can also really slot into a second line center role.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's huge for him. Pretty exciting for him, especially for, the reigning Stanley Cup champion team.
For sure.
So, I mean, shoot.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit right now for sure. So
Definitely, man. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Like I said, the season's right around the corner, and it'll be cool to see what they do with, any newcomers and with the changes, that they did have to make, at the end of the season. But I wanna jump to a couple other things, man, while we're recording here.
lovely.
You just mentioned Kadri, actually. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that. Just recently, there's some pictures that came out, promoting Kadri in his new uniform. And it's kind of like asking for people's opinions, like, what do you think? And I want to know, what do you think?
Oh, it looks so wrong. It looks so wrong.
It feels weird, doesn't it? Right?
It's so weird. I mean, not even just thinking of Kadri in the sense of the Avs. Of course, I would love to would have kept Kadri, absolutely. But I mean, even going back to him playing in the Toronto Maple Leafs days, like, him in red is just so weird.
Right.
It's just
that's what I felt the same way at first. I saw that first picture and I was like, God, he looks awful in it. And then, again, nothing against him, or like, there's no hard feelings. Like, we all kind of knew that this was going to happen. With the Flames, probably not. We were pointing fingers at different teams, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole different story that maybe we'll get into some other day. But yeah, it just red does not good look. Just not a good look for you, man. It just looks like shit.
I just like, and when you brought it up, I was like, it's so funny that you brought it up, because even today I was, scrolling through hockey Twitter and Instagram and stuff, and I saw that picture. I'm like,
it looks awful,
I don't know, man.
It might be one of those things, man. Like, we're Jersey guys, there's always like a jersey, like, God, that's a fucking ugly jersey. But then like a year or two goes by, I'm like, I kind of like that jersey.
Right.
So maybe where I'm getting at is like, maybe you're just not used to it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like brand new. Yeah, there's no blood on it yet, or like no puck stains on those jerseys. Like, it looks like shit. Once he like plays into it, I was like, all right. Yeah, it looks all right.
It's going to be tough. And what's so messed up about it is that the second game of the Avs season is against Calgary, in Calgary. So we're going to be seeing it right away.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It'll be a good game to watch, though, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I did not expect to see Calgary, like, Kadri.
Cadrigy. My tongue doesn't twist that way.
Cadbury, I guess you would call it. Like, as soon as the second game in, so that's going to be kind of tough. And I mean, yeah, just seeing him in that jersey, it's weird, man. I'm.
Hey, man, maybe it will grow.
I'm not used to it yet, so yeah, we'll see about that.
But yeah,
that one's tough. One's tough.
Yeah, and for anyone listening, let us know what you think about those jerseys. Shoot us a comment or whatnot. Put it in YouTube.
Right.
What you think of the red on Kadri? I don't know.
Instead of the C of red, now it's the K of red.
Yeah. Also have had couple not so sudden, but one surprised me. Retirements that just popped out.
Oh, yeah.
Zito Chara, which we kind of knew might happen. That was no surprise.
Yeah.
What threw me off was PK Subban.
Yeah, I mean that was really crazy. I mean, there's like rumors coming out that like he was really only willing to sign in either Toronto or Montreal. Neither of them wanted to give him a contract. So I mean, I felt like he had a lot more game left in him.
I mean, he's only like 33 years old or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
He still had at least like 3-4 seasons in him. More than that. There's people played way longer, you know. Well, I'm talking like just, you know, your typical, you know, retirement, so to speak.
Right. Like NHL longevity.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of threw me off. When I read that PK Subban announced his retirement too, I was blown off. Part of me makes me want to think like, we all know he went through some family stuff just recently.
He did divorce Lindsey Vonn.
Pretty rough breakups and this and that. If that maybe had something to do with it, him trying to rekindle his family back or something, you know, I'm just speculating.
Right.
I'm not saying that's what it was, but it just, yeah, or maybe like, I mean, he started doing all the whole broadcasting shit too. So maybe like he started enjoying that more than playing the game of hockey. I don't know, man. And he'll for sure be on ESPN or some shit from now on.
Well, apparently he's going to have his own like TV show with ESPN or somebody. It's like PK's Places. It's going to be like him doing like stuff in places.
Huh.
Yeah, like he already had that regardless if he was going to play this year or not. So, I mean, let's be honest with you. You know, I think the latter part of his career, I think he was more interested in, you know, the showmanship. You know, like the showman vibe. Because I mean, him doing a whole bunch, like his own YouTube channel and all that.
Yeah, he started doing the whole podcasting gig too and stuff, and it seemed like he enjoyed that a lot too.
Yeah,
like,
I think he was more focused on that rather than actually playing hockey.
Hey, man.
Which I mean, do what you do. You do you, baby Smurf, for sure. Like, I ain't trying to be like, well, he's in the wrong. Right? I mean, like, Dave, that's what you enjoy, bruv. Do it.
No, definitely. Know? And no, like, I mean, he had a pretty successful career.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, towards the end there with the Devils and stuff, you know, it's questionable. You know, people are talking like, it's PK's days over and stuff. And it's weird now that, you know, he's retiring, whatever. Yeah. But I think a lot of it had to do, I don't think it had anything to do with him not being capable of producing more and, you know, being better or whatnot. I think that whole family gig really, you know, the issues that he had, you know, the divorce or whatever, or breakup, whatever it was, that might have had a lot to do with it, you know. You know, just family stuff and whatnot, you know, like that shit gets to you, like, and people don't think about that. I feel like,
right?
You know, you're supposed to be like this fucking robot, you know, that's
go to work, play hockey, play hockey. Deal with shit when you're not playing hockey,
right?
But also think about hockey,
right? Yeah. Sometimes it feels that way, you know. And again, I'm no expert, but it's my personal opinion.
To me, I think he just lost a lot of the heart for hockey. I mean, not like saying like, oh, he doesn't enjoy playing hockey, but I mean, you know. I think he just seemed a lot happier doing that kind of like YouTube stuff and, you know, doing different stuff rather than playing hockey, you know, and then that happens.
Hey, you know what, man? You've created a platform for yourself at this point, right? You do a lot of great things, brand. You know, exactly. And you do this now, and instead of beating up your body 24/7, always being on the road, never being home, like. Right. You know, if you can still make a pretty good living doing something that you enjoy and you're healthy and stuff, like, go for it, man.
Get it, man. Absolutely. You know, and then, you got Big Z calling it quits. signing a one-day contract with the Bruins. So that was cool.
There are jokes going around that he's going to be the first guy in the NHL history to be able to hang up his own banner.
Ha! I love to see
just
that,
like
actually.
so tall.
Yeah.
6'9", I think, is what he was. 6'9", man. I think he's still like the tallest NHL player in history.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but like, I mean, he's basketball status, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Simone Evanson might actually combat that. He's like 18 years old. He's about 6'7".
no shit.
So, yeah.
That
He's
kid's still growing then.
Yeah, rookie for the Detroit Red Wings. So, he might grow a few more inches and maybe take that over. But, yeah, Simone Evanson is a huge dude. So, he would have been the closest. So, he might be the tallest guy in the league right now that Chara is gone.
Yeah. Yeah, but no. Chara, man, I think 24 seasons in the NHL, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Most of them with Boston, like 16 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which he was a captain throughout the whole...
Just about, yeah.
Whole, how many years he played with him?
Yeah.
Defenseman, scrapper. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean,
just a monster, like a huge presence, not just like size-wise, but I mean, just as a locker room presence. I mean, just a guy you would want to be your captain, a guy you'd want to fight with every single night for sure. And I mean, gosh, all the memes about Big Z. I mean, him holding that Coke bottle, like you didn't realize that was actually a liter bottle.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big dude. It's so funny, and it's like his fights were fun to watch too. I mean, the dude's reach, obviously, like,
oh dude, yeah,
he looks down on everyone, like, how can you not fuck people up, I mean, there's no proper way of saying that, but like he just put a beating on people.
Is he like one of the only guys in the league that was told to stop making his slap shot so hard?
Yeah,
just because you probably tear people's limbs apart.
I mean, it's dumb,
really
man.
Unleashed it. So, I mean, congrats to both of them on great careers, and also Keith Yandel.
See, that I didn't hear. I know you mentioned to me before we started recording. Had no idea.
Yeah. All three on the same day. It's like they all got together. Like, hey, boys.
You think it's time to call it?
Retirement party.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, and I mean, Keith Yandel, huge Iron Man. I mean, and dude, he was no slouch either.
Yeah.
And I mean, towards the tail end of his career, he could still put the puck in the net for a defenseman. So, and I mean, he has the Iron Man streak right now, which was unceremoniously ended by none other than Mike Yeo, that bald-headed prick in Philadelphia last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Mike Yeo.
I think the listeners got it.
And I mean, I mean, Keith Yandel and Philadelphia Flyers weigh in on this. How do you feel about Mike Yeo? He's gone now. I mean, that's obviously big torts coming in, and gonna take the helm from there. So, I mean, would I rather Mike Yeo over John Tortorella? Hell no. Torts all the way. But I mean, I'm not even that big of a Torts guy. But yeah, Keith Yandel, huge career as well, and all three of them calling it quits the same day.
Yeah, no,
so
cool. Yeah, congratulations to those guys.
All three of you boys.
It'll be fun to see. Like I said, I don't know. I think Chara's just like, we'll never see him again.
Yeah,
he's retiring. He's going wherever he's gonna go.
Oh yeah, he even said he wanted to be low key. So.
Like, he might pop in here and there for some alumni games or something weird like that. But Chara's gone. PK, like I said, you'll see him on TV, 100%.
Here's a question: do you see any of those three guys going to the Hall?
I would see more so Chara than anyone else, in my opinion.
Agreed. And I'll tell you right now, I'm pretty sure 33 is getting raised to the rafters of TD Garden.
I think so too. I mean, like I said, again, from the day they took him, I'm almost certain the 14 or 16 season, I can't remember.
An astronomical amount, for sure.
He was with the Bruins for a long period of time, and he was the captain from the start to the end. Just that, he might, who knows, he might even break some sort of Bruins record of the longest captain or some shit.
Right.
I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass at this point, but it's pretty long,
Oh yeah.
So who knows? Yeah, but yeah, 100%. I think he made a pretty significant impact in Boston for him to have his jersey up there.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, significant impact on the game. So I think I could definitely see him even going to the Hall one day, for sure.
100%. And this is actually a good way to switch things. We're kind of on the Boston thing with Char and stuff. Speaking of captains and this and that, I just recently read some sort of interview. It was like a tweet, and I don't know if this particular gentleman was interviewed by someone or he just randomly tweeted this shit out. I don't know that many details. I just read a little something, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but this guy always rubs me the wrong way, and I'm talking about Boston's own Brad Marchand.
Oh, what a surprise.
Fucking rat. Anyhow, so I don't know if this was asked by him or he just chalantly gave his own opinion about it, and I don't know why he did. There might be something behind it all why he said that was, but I can't say where I screenshotted the tweet or whatever it was. I don't want to, because I'm using the GoPro to record right now. I don't want to go out of it. But basically, what it basically said was, Marchand basically made some sort of comment saying that it is unfair for these young people, players being put in captain's positions. And then he basically talked about like your 21, 22-year-olds. It is unfair for them to be put in a captain's position because they don't know a single thing about the NHL.
Right.
And I kind of thought about it, and I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, and like I guess I could kind of see where he's coming from, wanting that more veteran presence in the locker room, that might be taken more seriously as opposed to a 21-year-old kid, getting up in the locker room like, let's do this, guys, whatever.
Playing his first 30 in the NHL and getting the C. Right,
but then I can't help but to, again, run back to our own,
Gabe Landeskog, yeah.
He was, 19 years old when they gave him the C?
Yeah,
with the Avs?
youngest captain in the league at the time.
And it worked out pretty darn well for us, And I'm not gonna say, that it would be the same exact outcome for everyone else, but it's just like a little bit like F you, man. Like, just because the kid's younger than you, doesn't mean that like I guess I just didn't understand what he meant by that. Was like, what do you mean by that, bro? Just because you know about the NHL, what does the NHL have to do with you being a good captain? If you're good in the locker room, you know what to say. You know the right time when to say things. You know the right time when to shut up. That sort of thing, and kind of like getting people going. Like, who gives a fuck if you're 19 or 36?
Right. Yeah.
But again, I've never been in an NHL locker room, and maybe there's some fucking code that I don't know about, but I don't know. I was just kind of like, screw you, man. It almost came off to me as in, you're just jealous because maybe you didn't get it or one of your buddies didn't get it. I don't know.
Now, yeah, I got a few things to say about this, and I think what the comment he made was pertaining to. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it might have been about Nick Suzuki, who's very young, getting the captaincy in Montreal.
Maybe. I don't know.
If it seems like it is, but I mean, yeah, there's a lot that goes into this. I mean, who knows? Maybe this 19-year-old kid, like some people are just born leaders. Some people just have that kind of aura around them that, attracts people to them and, is just, infectious. And I mean, that's kind of how I saw with Landeskog. I mean, ever since that kid set foot in the league, he's been, people are attracted to him in positive ways, and people listen when he talks, when he speaks, excuse me. But I mean, there are some times where it's just like, some people just get awarded the captaincy just because of namesake. And I kind of see, I kind of saw that as how, when Connor McDavid came into the league, that, he was just awarded the C because he's supposed to be, the next savior of, Edmonton Oilers hockey. But, just like you said, I'm not in the locker room. I don't know this, There could be good reasons. And, I've actually had a problem with this myself. If I could, maybe sway this a little bit, like the Tkachuk brothers. There was word that came out, when Brady Tkachuk signed his contract, 1 or 2 years ago, that, he said he would only sign as if he was the captain of this Ottawa team. Which, when I saw, them award Brady Tkachuk the captain, I was really baffled. I was like, there's a couple more people on that roster that are way more deserving of the C than Brady Tkachuk. Don't get me wrong, he's a great up and coming player, but I don't think he deserved it. And then it came out not too long ago. I mean, this is rumor, but I read it off of Hockey Patrol and hockeypatrol.com. Say whatever you want to say. They're normally pretty, they pretty much call it middle of the road. It came out that one of the reasons why Matt Tkachuk asked for a trade is because the Calgary Flames didn't want to give him the C. And I kind of got to thinking, do you, where do you draw the line between people, demanding to be the captain or finding it more, naturally, really stepping into the locker room, maybe going a little bit of a season without having a captain and really finding it naturally that way. I mean, there's teams now. I mean, Blake Wheeler just got stripped of the C in Winnipeg.
Yeah,
and he's been captain since dirt was created. Yeah. For the Winnipeg Jets. So but even he made some off-color commentary this past season about how the locker room is, and kind of put a lot of bad taste in people's mouths about Blake Wheeler. So it's just it's really hard to judge from a fan point of view from where we're at to really decide who deserves the C. So
yeah,
in my eyes, it's for Brad Marchand to go out, and we know Brad Marchand, he loves to stir the pot.
Right.
I really think that's exactly what he was doing, just opening his mouth to have his mouth, be open.
He's had a few months break. No one's talked about him. Right. He felt exactly. And that might have been it. But yeah, going back to the C and stuff, even in the travel hockey you and I played with, it's nothing compared to the level of hockey we're talking about right now.
Right.
But even there, the coaches and the staff or whatever, they just didn't throw out that C's and A's to whoever just because they brought a box of donuts before practice one day, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was earned. You had to do something, you were the guy that spoke up, or
led by
you
example,
showed leadership or in some sort of way, whatever. It just wasn't given to you because your dad, owns this business that could sponsor the team or whatever. It was never anything like that. It was truly deserved. You had to have done something in the locker room or in the ice to deserve it. And age had absolutely nothing to do with it.
No, for sure.
And I think, and I would assume the NHL is 100% the same way. They're just not going to give it to this 20-year-old kid or whatever, he's
just because
he's truly showing something. Or this kid's gonna be great. He's really getting through these other kids.
He's committed.
He's improving something. So I don't know. I think it was just like a very blunt, shitty comment, and it's like, I don't know.
Extremely backhanded for sure.
Yeah,
And
but
it was just being, he was Brad Marchand being Brad Marchand,
yeah, but again, man, like you said, like you wouldn't expect anything more or less from him, so take it for what it is. But I thought it was worth mentioning up. I don't know, it just got my gears grinding a little bit, so I was like, "We're gonna get your opinion on it." So
He got a rise out of you, and that's exactly what he does.
that's
man.
what he wanted,
you know.
and maybe I shouldn't have talked about it because that's what he exactly wanted. He wanted people to talk about it and fucking stir shit up. But
I mean, it's a good topic to talk about. I mean, because sometimes you do lose sight of why the captaincy is there, and sometimes it does get muddied in the waters. Like, I mean, people demanding to be a C rather than naturally being awarded the C. Like, what does that show out of your character? Like how does that make you a captain if you're demanding to be it? Like, how is that you being a team player?
right.
Like, you're worried more about a title than actually being a part of the team, in my eyes.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, I think, it's good to have a conversation about it, because the captaincy is something to be held in the highest of esteem.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't get lost. I mean, that's why we have captains. That's why we have the whole leadership, And I mean, some people, you don't have to be talkative in the locker room to have the C. You can lead by example. You can go out there and, just be a really hard worker and go the extra mile for the team in that way to become the captain. But I mean, still, it means a lot more than just someone saying, "I want the C," or "He's the next face of this franchise right now." But I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So it's not all I'm saying, I guess, in a very roundabout way, is it's not something to be taken lightly.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. Again, yeah, I don't think it's worth talking about it anymore, but yeah, I think we threw in our opinions and
it's funny that you mentioned that, because I really wanted to get that stuff about the Kachuk brothers off my chest, and finally I got to. So
worked out perfectly, man.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, man. One last thing before we wrap this up today. We're close to an hour already. Probably the longest podcast we made so far.
I mean, we haven't been together for a couple of months. We haven't been able to talk for a while, so yeah, we got a lot of shit to talk about.
Yeah, and this actually popped up today. I was just kind of browsing catching up on some Latvian sports, so to speak. I was listening to one of my favorite Latvian sports podcasts, and they do very similar thing that we do here. Anyhow, something interesting popped up was, you remember Bob Hartley?
How could I forget?
Right. Former, a lot of Avs this episode too, by the way. I mean, we're Avs fans, but we were like extra Avs this episode.
Well, like I said, we haven't been together for a while. There's been some major things with the Avs happening.
But Bob Hartley, former Colorado Avalanche coach, obviously Stanley Cup winner in 2001. He's been kind of around, coaching, no more in the NHL. Last coaching was in the KHL, and that's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit here. So recently, Hartley was coaching for the Omsk Avangard KHL team, one of the Russian teams. He actually ended up winning the Gagarin Cup with those guys in I think the 2000 whatever, just recently, a couple of years ago. Yeah, he won that and all this, and he signed a 2-year extension with the team. Then, of course, all this shit happened, right, with the war and whatnot, and Hartley resigned during that 2-year extension that he signed. However, when an interview was going on, he not once mentioned anything about the war or anything. It was more so
family matters,
being far away from family, being at the age where now he has grandchildren and stuff, he wants to really focus on that, be a part of his grandchildren's life and this and that. And he just needs to take a step back and focus on family.
Right.
So he leaves Russia. Then just recently, there was an article that came out with some sort of Canadian radio channel. I don't know if they're sports or whatever, where he came in and did an interview with those guys. And this was literally like end of August, I believe, where he kind of spoke about, his coaching career and this and that. And mind you, before he left for the Umps, he did say that, hockey's in his blood and he's not retiring. He's just taking a break. So fast forward now, August, whatever it was, he does this radio interview where he talks about his hockey career, coaching, blah, blah, blah. And he kind of does this weird, like he doesn't quite announce it, but he's saying like, he's been with family now. He has time to spend time with his grandchildren and stuff. And he's realizing that, it's kind of like this right thing, so to speak. And
to hang up the whistle.
He needs to be more with his family, and it just feels right, and it's good, and this and that. So, in fact, it might be time to hang up the whistle, skates, however we want to put it, right? That he might be done on the hockey scene or whatever. Now, fast forward to now, there's this rumor going out, and man, I looked on like multiple news things or whatever, and I can't quite find anything like that really like says it, yep, that's true. So it's still kind of like, I don't know if it's true or not, but supposedly he is back in Russia in Omsk. Man. He's back in Omsk. So the team that he just left from, Omsk Vanguard, so he's back with those guys, apparently working on youth hockey, helping to make youth hockey better or some shit like that. And then apparently kind of working in the, not like quite coaching, but in the backside of the Vanguard team and like helping with their like team development and shit. And again, I can't find like a legit source. I found this like bullshit website too that like said like, yep, he just resigned and he's there as we speak. But I'll feel more comfortable with it when I get like a legit news source.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, what do you think about all that, man? Like going back to Russia again, like when he's like, talking about this whole family shit and now you're like going back where, I don't know. I don't want to be, me personally, I don't want to be in Russia right now.
Nah, I mean, obviously, just like how you said when we were setting up, the rubles must be nice for him to go all the way back there. But I mean, make up your mind, I guess it's easier said than done, but like, yeah, that's more wishy-washy than a
weird, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it just makes you think, man, like with everything going on there with the sanctions and this and that and like not being able to use certain credit cards and like all this, like you really gotta like fucking be all like very all over the place to be able to even fucking live in that shithole.
Oh yeah.
And like,
I mean, societal backlash.
Like, I don't know what the hell they offered him for him to go back all the way there. I mean, maybe like he just, he was the head coach for Team Latvia and he had a lot of love for Latvia and stuff too. I feel like he's going to be there forever, and maybe he found that there too when he started, coaching over there and he sees something potential or whatever. But I just like, man, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Like, especially just the way he's saying, "Oh, well, I'm done. I'm not done. I'm done. I'm not done." And then next thing you know, he's right back in Russia. It's just weird. It's like, I mean, obviously there's something in the water, or something what they're doing over there that just keeps having him call back.
Yeah, it's just weird, man. Like with him going the back and forth, like I was like, totally Hartley, like I mean, he's always, hockey's in my blood. That's my thing. And
right.
and he still has it in him and whatnot, and like I could see that, but like coaching here in the United States, I'm not even saying like coaching for the NHL or anything, but like some juniors, ECHL, whatever, right?
Oh yeah.
But like going back to Russia, dude, like especially now, like in this like very touchy, like I don't know, like I mean, I'm not saying Mr. Hartley has a brand, but like doesn't really look good, man.
Yeah, I mean, especially with all the love that he's created with like Latvian hockey fans too. It's weird. It's really weird. So I don't know. That I guess we'll see how it plays out. Maybe this might be false, but I mean, shoot.
Yeah, it was just like it popped up randomly. Like I literally maybe like 2 hours ago, I fucking listened about that, and I was like, "What?" Like, it's just so weird.
It's hard to rationalize.
Yeah, I was like, man, like, but again, like, at the same time, man, like, there's so many players actually went back to the KHL that, like, even from the Latvia side and even Americans and stuff. And
Czech players too.
It just makes you think, like, what are they paying these guys? Like, I mean, the ruble's not worth a damn thing anymore. Like, what are they like fucking sending their families fucking oil? I don't fucking do. I'm talking shit now, but like seriously though, like what's there that's so appealing?
Maybe it ensures safety to their family, or
I doubt that.
Gosh, I just don't know. I mean, to rationalize any of what's really going on in all of that jive anyways, it's tough to even think about. So, I mean, if someone who has the opportunity not to go back there, the choice to stay away from it, and they choose to go back there, it's hard to I mean, put yourself in those shoes as well. Like, yeah, I want to go back. I don't know. So many people are fighting to get out of there.
Yeah.
Or getting as far away.
Just not associated with it, general. What I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Hey, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hey, Beeks, that's the last thing I had, man.
Yeah.
I think we've had, like I said, we're over an hour now, so good first episode of the second
season.
And there's going to be much coming. Like I said, NHL is right around the corner, man. Like, we're going to some preseason games. So there'll be some good stuff, man. There's going to be a lot to talk about.
Yeah, beautiful way to, start off the standalone.
Definitely. Yeah. Again, new platform. It's going to be only on one platform, Stick and Puck, on the podcast platforms, and we'll promote all that. And there's going to be an Instagram, and we'll promote that as soon as we have it up and stuff. But again...
Make sure to follow us there, and on Spotify and stuff. All you gotta do is type in Stick and Puck.
Yep.
And you'll see us there. And yeah, keep listening. And thank you guys for listening as we speak.
Thanks so much, guys. And yeah, in the meantime, we'll just still promote it on the Bench of Beaks Between the Pipes Network. Yep. And yeah, thanks guys so much, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So keep that stick on the ice.
That's right, baby.
Keep them skates tight.
Yeah, boy.